Okay, so why am I doing this? Welcome back to Bonsai. Today we're gonna talk again about the first steps you need to know when you're creating a bonsai. I'm talking about you, the bonsai beginner. So you need to create your own bonsai tree because I know everybody wants, especially if they're beginners, they want to have this big, nice bonsai tree. But you cannot have such a tree if you don't understand how a tree in a pot works. So today I'm gonna show you the first two steps in creating a bonsai. And I cannot stress this enough. You need to make your own bonsai tree from scratch. You will understand how the tree grows, how the root develops. You will understand bonsai potting mixes, when you have to use a type of potting mix, when you have to use another type. You will learn about how the species develops, how the species grows, how to water it, how to prune it. You will understand everything. You need to make your own bonsai tree right now. Let's go. So here you are. It's a lot of, it's crowded, it's a lot of mess here, but there's no problem. So we've got potting mixes, we've got little cuttings, and we've got three of my Chinese roses, which I will need to develop them further and just transferring them onto stage 2 on becoming a cool bonsai tree. What I have here are two little tiny growing pots, developing pots. These are extremely good for starting your tree. So I've got here the potting mix for the stage 2, and I've got here the potting mix for stage 1. Okay, this is peat moss and perlite in a kind of a 50-50%. This is the best potting mix you can make for the first stage, for developing roots. Let's get on with these little pomegranates. I've just pruned my pomegranates at some point, I think about a month ago. Look at this, it's got a flower bud. And I've just planted them, put them in water, so they grow roots. Look at this. This makes my point. Look at this. This really makes my point that always what's underground, it's the same volume with what's in the air, okay? With the leaves, with the branches. So if you just think a little bit about it, this is the same volume as this, because always the root is the exact opposite. It's a mirror of the crown. So let's get on with this pretty fast. I'm gonna spray this with just a little bit of water, not too much. We're gonna need more because otherwise we'll get a lot of dust and I don't want to inhale that dust. So it's a little bit cleaner this way. Nice and fast. Okay, let's take our first pot. Just fill it up with this potting mix. This spoon, it's a little small, but I'm gonna get the job done. Okay, so I'm gonna take my little stick, dig a hole, water it a little bit some more so the hole can be a hole, okay? And I don't think I'm gonna plant all of this, but I don't know, we're gonna see. So in we go with our first one. It already sits on its own. We're gonna fill the gaps, of course. So always, don't try to make other types of substrates. When you are trying to grow roots on your little cuttings, please use this 50-50 substrate because it's just the best. You cannot get better substrate for your cuttings this will grow roots so fast. Let's get on with the second one. Nice and fast. No fuss, no muss. It's not, don't make it a big deal. It's not. But if you follow these steps, you will always get good roots. So let's see, this is quite big here. Also, this reddish color leaves. I don't know about that. So even though this is a small cutting, I think I'm gonna choose this because I've got a lot of roots and I'm just loving that. You need to always realize that the roots are the most important part of any tree. So if the roots are healthy, the tree is gonna be healthy too. This is one way to root your cuttings, so to stabilize them and further grow them as little trees. And the other way is just to prune them and just run them through a rooting hormone and just plant them without roots and they will make roots. But you'll have to create a mini greenhouse. You have to improvise because they need a lot of moisture in the air. If I'm just gonna leave them like this, the chances are they're gonna die because those little these little roots, okay, are water roots. They were born and developed in water. They're not in water anymore, so it takes some time for them to change, okay. They physically need to change and transform into soil roots. So I'm just going to get them to the shower. So what I'm gonna do now is take my little trees, okay, put them inside this improvised greenhouse. I'm just gonna spray it with a lot of water and just a little box like this is just so amazing. You can make an improvised greenhouse and it's amazing because you can provide a lot of moisture in the air. Also, put it somewhere a little bit more on the dark side because darkness encourages root growth and we want to establish those roots to transform them into soil roots, allow them to transform into soil roots because they're now water roots. So that needs to happen pretty fast. I'm just gonna leave them there for about a week, 10 days, 12 days, something like that. I'm gonna check them. I'm gonna open the box from time to time, every couple of days, and make sure there's moisture there and just allow the gases to exchange. So if they get a lot of moisture onto the leaves, they will not die. Have 20 cuttings and you just leave them outside, there's a high possibility to get a 20%, 15% survival rate, but I don't have two trees. This is the best way to do it, believe me. So let's get on with our first little tree here, with our first Chinese rose. I'm gonna choose a pot real quickly, and this is my pot. You can see it's bigger, nice drainage holes. This is about a half a liter pot, so I'm loving these pots. They're just so cool. Let's bring our stuff straight in. Again, missed it. We will not get a lot of dust here. I'm gonna have to mist it some more. Yeah. Okay. I think that's enough. Step 1. Take the plant out of the pot. I can already see this is, I don't think you can see it, but this is, I can feel it, it's swollen. It's got now more room to grow in. So I'm gonna try to do it like this. If I don't want to yank the tree too hard. I can always use the scissors to cut. Oh, look at this. Look how cool is this. How cool is this? So I'm just going to take this off. This is really, really nice. So in we go. Push it hard, of course. Push it hard down the pot. Told you that perlite and peat. It's just amazing for developing roots. All of these trees, all of these three Chinese roses are less than 1 year old. They're made from cuttings for my bigger trees. Let's take the chopsticks and just do what's necessary. This is mandatory. Never, 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 never. I cannot stress this enough. Never skip this step. It makes the tree stable. You need to work the substrate in. So the roots grow how they should grow. Be firm. Don't be brutal. And you will start to feel it clump up. And little by little, it will start to put on resistance. So you will feel it when it's done. Just the stick will not want to go in, and top it up with a little more substrate. Okay, and we are done here. Okay, so why am I doing this? This is a good way to start growing mature roots. You can leave those trees in there for a year. These cuttings are about 7 months old, I think. I can remember when I planted all my cuttings, okay? But they're from, I think, late spring or something like that. So they're pretty young. But I pulled them out. I saw the root system that was pretty big. I also can feel the pods, okay, because they're so skinny and thin. I can feel they're swollen up. So that means that the pot is quite full of roots. I could have left them there for another year. The plants will not die in that potting mix, but this is way better. And you might think, well, he didn't do that much to them because the pots are not quite that, there's not a lot of difference in size, but there is because I saw how much potting mix I used, and I used quite a lot. So on the sides like that, there wasn't a lot of potting mix that went in, but at the bottom, I had almost half a pot with new potting mix, and that will mean more room for the roots for develop, better drainage, higher quality soil, and the roots will now start to mature. Next. Let's see. We got quite a cute little tree right here. Again, we got some great root systems. I'm gonna break some of the roots. That's not a problem whatsoever. Okay, so in we go onto our bigger pot. Fill out the gaps. This is a little bit tricky because this is not a big pot. Just a little bigger, but that's not a problem. Because what we are doing today is just slip potting them. You can do this on any tree, any time of the year. Yeah, you need to be a little bit more careful with the deciduous trees, and with the coniferous, but you can do it pretty much any time of the year. So work the soil in, fill the gaps, and we will be good to go. So why didn't I just repotted the trees, like clean the roots, prune the roots, and just repot them or pot them into nice bonsai pots? Because they're not quite there yet. So let's bring in our third candidate here. Healthy. Okay, take out the pot, take out this little mesh. You can see how well the roots have developed. Straight into the pot, push it hard, push it hard, push it hard. Okay, and of course, we're gonna do the same thing. Some more. It's already, the trees are already quite stable. I'm liking that. And we're done. You have to take small steps into developing a good, very good bonsai tree. They're not there yet. Also, it's late in the fall. Winter is coming. We're gonna get less and less light, and I don't want to repot my trees, even though they're tropicals. I don't want to repot them now because darkness will come. We're gonna get fewer and fewer light hours. Of course, when you're living near the tropics, you can do anything you like because you're gonna get a lot of flashes, pushes of growth than I get here. So I have to correlate things. Yeah, and that's why I didn't mess with the roots. I'm gonna leave them on like this. I think I'm gonna do a pruning in the spring, and then I will come in the summertime and just repot them. Maybe if they're there, okay, maybe I'll put them into nice pots. But remember, do it little by little. You have to thicken them up, and you have to develop those mature roots before you prune them hard and plant them into a nice bonsai pot. If you do that too soon, the plant will start to grow slowly and slowly. It's not a problem, but it will just take longer to build a cool bonsai tree. So this is about it for today. We have planted a few cuttings of dwarf pomegranate so we can grow them as bonsai trees. So that's the stage one, and we've put our three little Chinese roses, we transferred them onto stage two of becoming a great bonsai. For now, they need to grow. You need to grow them very big. I'm gonna say it again. You must have thick bonsai. You can have small bonsai trees, but you cannot never ever have thin bonsai trees because that just looks young and we want them to look good. You don't have to necessarily have old bonsai tree, you just need it to look old, and that thickness gets you that look. Also, any tree, any kind of tree, when it gets old, the bark starts to get character, and we need to utilize and grow that character. With time, they're gonna get prettier and prettier and prettier and prettier. They're gonna change. They're living things. Never forget that. They're living things. A bonsai tree is never finished. So that's pretty cool. Start your bonsai right now.